What is up, Tiger fans? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be previewing the upcoming South Carolina State and Clemson matchups. We have the South Carolina State Bulldogs from the FCS traveling to Clemson. This is going to be a pretty interesting matchup, but it is an FCS versus a Clemson team that's ranked number 6 in the country. So I'm going to try to make this fairly quick, but let's hop right in with the injury report. Starting with South Carolina State, I can't really find any injury information for them. So if you have any information, feel free to share in the comments, but I just can't really find much. But once again, just share in the comments if you do have any information regarding South Carolina State's injury report. In this Clemson injury report, we're really just on question marks with a couple of players, but I did the best I could to gather information. So Tyson Pumachan, he's coming off of his torn Achilles in the spring game, and he's expected to be active. Sounds like he's go, but we don't really know right now. I just put him on here, but it sounds like, the thing has been this entire past month that he's going to be ready for the first home game, which, of course, is this South Carolina State matchup. So we're anticipating that Tyson Pumachan will be able to play. He is DJ Uyongale's backup, so he's going to be a very important player, and will likely see the field in this game. We got Kobe Pace at running back. He went out with an injury third quarter, I believe. Might have been fourth quarter against Georgia. And we haven't heard much information at all. But it sounds like his status might be up in the air. It sounds like he is dealing with an injury, but it sounds like an undisclosed injury. So we just don't know a lot about Kobe Pace right now. But he's a co-starter at running back. This would be a big loss. EJ Williams, he's dealing with a hand injury that will require surgery. But it sounds like EJ is going to push the surgery back to the offseason and try to play through it. So this is going to be very good. Very good having EJ here. Just hopefully he isn't aggravating the injury. Next up we have Brandon Spector. He's still out with an illness. He was out last week and he's going to be out again this week. And one guy that I didn't include on the list before we get on to Nolan Turner and Landon Zanders. Mason Trotter, starting center, he is dealing with a hand injury. So I believe he will be out again. Maybe a starter at center, maybe not. Depends on what Clemson wants to do with Matt Bockhurst, but Trotter will be out again. And Nolan Turner and Landon Zanders, the two presumed starting safeties coming into the season. Turner, we don't really have much information on, but sounds like it's a shoulder injury, and it sounds like Clemson is just holding him out due to precautionary reasons, just trying to take this safe with Nolan Turner. And then Landon Zanders, he's actually out for the year with a shoulder injury. It was the same arm that he had issues with last year, and it sounds like it's going to be another issue for him. So hopefully Landon Zanders can come back strong next year, and hopefully Nolan Turner is ready to go for Week 3's matchup against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. So now we're going to head on to the South Carolina State offense versus the Clemson defense. What kind of matchup are we looking at here? South Carolina State, they had a dual-threat quarterback, and this is something that JT Daniels just wasn't really factor in against Clemson, was running the ball. So this is a much different South Carolina State offense. And their dual-threat quarterback, combined with their strong run game, they're able to stretch the defense and call the right plays. I think that South Carolina State could have success, some success at least, on a Clemson defense that just didn't really face this last week. And it's going to be quick tempo. Brent Venables, he waits so long to get his plays in that sometimes these quicker tempo offenses give him some trouble. So if South Carolina State can play a fast, sort of fun type of offense where it's a lot of explosive plays, whether it's a stretch run or a quarterback run off of an option, those type of plays I think are what South Carolina is going to look to do, or South Carolina State, I believe, is what they're going to look to do against Clemson, because obviously this is a much different matchup than what they're going to see the rest of the season. And for the Clemson defense, it's going to be stopping the run, containing the dual threat quarterback, and then stopping the run. Clemson has a great run defense, but that's South Carolina State's strength, and they don't want South Carolina State to play to their strength. So it's going to be making South Carolina State beat them through the air, but it's going to also be preventing chunk plays. We saw quite a few of these last year, and it looks like this has been cleaned up against Georgia, but also Georgia didn't really look to push the ball downfield at all. I think some of that was due to improved safety play by Clemson, primarily Andrew Makuba coming in as a true freshman. But Clemson's got to continue to play well on the back end and prevent big chunk plays, primarily in the passing game, because if they're stopping the run, it's going to be South Carolina State trying to compete through the air. So now for the South Carolina State defense versus the Clemson offense. South Carolina State on defense, they're going to have to pressure DJ Uiagalelei. They want to make him feel uncomfortable. That's how Georgia had so much success against the Tigers last week, is pressuring DJ, making him feel uncomfortable, missing passes, taking sacks, and that's the same type of thing that South Carolina State needs to do. And make DJ beat you. Look, DJ Uiagalelei, we saw what he could do last year, but he struggled against Georgia when he didn't have a run game to lean on. And if South Carolina State does the same thing in this game, where DJ won't have a run game to lean on, maybe, who knows? Maybe he could struggle a little bit in this game as well. But that's how South Carolina State is going to have success on defense. And DJ has a huge arm. And I think that Dabo's going to look to get him comfortable by taking shots in this game. So don't be surprised if DJ Uiagalelei is throwing the ball down the field quite a bit. So South Carolina State, they're going to have to prevent the deep pass. And as for the Clemson offense, the offensive line, I think this is pretty straightforward. The offensive line has to improve. Run blocking, pass blocking, everything has to improve. We're still trying to find the best 5 players on this line for Clemson. And it's just going to be about whether or not they can step up and continue to improve, because this group right now is not a national championship caliber group. And those are the type of expectations that Clemson has year in and year out under Dabo Swinney. And I talked about this earlier, settling DJ Uiagalelei into the game. So I think some of that will be on the run game. Can the run game get going at all? Whether it's Kobe Pace playing, Lynjay Dixon, Will Shipley, whoever's carrying the ball, can they get going? And then can we get DJ's confidence back? Can we get DJ closer to what he was last year? And I think maybe we start off with some short passes just to get some completions on the board. But this is South Carolina State, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dabo looks to take some shots. And this is nothing against South Carolina State. We've seen FCS teams have success against FBS teams all the time. But I think that this is going to be a game that Clemson sort of looks to test some things out and fix their issues on offense. And it's going to be finding the right plays for DJ, and establishing a strong run game will help out DJ. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some deep shots from the Tigers. Uiagalelei has a huge arm, and those would be huge confidence builders here for him early in the season. But that is all there is for those bullet points. And now we're here to the final prediction. I know this was a much quicker video than the Georgia video, and the reason is I have Clemson winning by a score of 47-10. Now, South Carolina State's not an awful team, but their pass defense really struggled last week against Alabama A&M. So I think Clemson's offense gets going early, and Clemson still has a lot of depth. So I think they'll be able to contain the South Carolina State offense enough to keep them within reason as far as the scoring column goes. But 47 points, a very strong bounce-back offensive performance for a Clemson team that scored 3 points last week against Georgia. But that is all I have for this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments what you think the score will be of this Clemson-South Carolina State game. Is this Clemson offense really an issue, or will they have a big bounce back here against the Bulldogs? Once again, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments your prediction, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Tigers.